So I'm sat here today with Cara Barrett talking about her new series, Scapes. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Ed.
Good. So we're going to talk about three particular pieces today. Starting off with this work here, could you tell me what the medium is?
So it's Fabriano paper with an Indian ink wash.
Okay. And how does that relate to the title of the series, Scapes? Are they landscapes? Are they...
I have decided that because scape can be anything, I don't want to decide what people see when they look at my work. So some people might see something and see a landscape, others might see a seascape, others still might see more of a dreamscape.
So you're playing with the interpretation of the viewer, really, rather than your intention behind the work itself. That's really interesting. And so if we move on to this one, this seems a lot more clearly scaped to me. I see an ocean almost when I look at this, and the sky meeting at the top. How did you achieve this effect with the paper on here?
So what I've used for this one is MDF, which then has a layer of Fabriano paper glue to it, and I then had wet strength tissue paper that I had applied ink to previously, just to give you some nice black marks here. And then PVA, put the tissue paper on and just kind of manipulate it until I felt happy with the forms.
I think the layers of different markings and shapes, I think the 3D texture is really fascinating. Is there anything that inspired you to do that, or did you just kind of want to...
It's that playing with, I like playing with materials, I like exploring how far I can push them, what I can do with them. So I do, obviously this has then got charcoal worked into it, and I wanted to kind of see how the charcoal would interact with the tissue paper that's highly textured versus the very plain strip at the top, and just what that would achieve. And I suppose I had an idea in my head of that, like churning sea, when the sea is really rough, and you've got, and it's like whirlpools and eddies, and it's, you know, just all going a bit crazy. And that was kind of where I was feeling when I was creating that.
And in some of your previous works, you've focused on spirals. I saw some of your earlier works last year, and did that play into the way that you decided to make these works at all?
Good question. So that particular spiral piece, again, that was an exploration into material manipulation. So it was actually, that particular piece was placed on a board and spun while I was applying ink to it, so that achieved that sort of spiral flowing outward that I was looking for. I suppose really all your previous explorations feed into everything else, don't they?
Absolutely. Just coming back to here, you said the material on this was?
So it's Fabriano with ink.
With ink. And how did you get this somewhat faded look on the ink? Because it's obviously not, a lot of ink works, like you look at the older Japanese ink works, and they're very striking, bold movements, whereas a lot more nuance in the layers of your inking.
A lot of water, just a lot of water. I think I did sort of brush across it with a paintbrush at one point. But yeah, I tend to use a lot of water. Again, it's how far can I manipulate the ink before I lose the image entirely? And it's like trying to find that where to stop.
Yeah.
So that is where that started really with the spiral piece last year, because the first spiral piece was stunning until I just added a little bit too much water, and then the whole thing went completely wrong. So I then redid it and just had to find that moment where it was right to stop.
So it's finding that balance in the manipulation where it's still interpretable for the audience who are viewing it. So then moving on to this last piece, this is charcoal, you said?
No, it's oil pastel.
Oil pastel. Sorry, I'm getting confused.
No, that's fine. It's oil pastel on paper, which I've then used linseed oil to manipulate the oil pastel. blend it further.
So linseed oil is interesting for you there, because that's obviously very heavily used in oil painting, but not so much with oil pastels, at least from my experience. But I'm not a painter of any kind or a drawer. But it's interesting the way you've again got those kind of rough sea kind of. I'm looking for the right word here. It's almost a connotation, like you say. It's not explicitly the ocean,
No.
but it has that almost similar quality to this when the sea is rough and it's
Yeah.
charging against each other. No, it's really lovely. And you have the spots, which I don't know if this is any truth to this, but obviously your work does focus on interpretation. I see almost stars in the top. And then obviously you've got similar work here. It's really fascinating. Are there anything else you can tell me about the works?
So all of my work is based on explorations of memory. It's memory, it's trying to convey emotion, it's, as well as obviously manipulation of materials and perhaps using things in ways that you wouldn't normally consider using them. So like you say about the linseed oil with oil pastel, I don't know whether, I assume you would probably use it with oil pastel. I don't really know. Again, I'm not a painter. So I was just looking for a solvent or a something that would allow me to manipulate the oil pastel, and happened to find a bottle of linseed oil in my stash and thought I'd try it, and it worked really, really well. It's like it evaporates quickly enough to where you've only got a short window to manipulate the surface. So that then means that you almost have layers in that respect. So, yeah.
And just finally, is there anything you can tell us about the way your work is going to be moving forward the rest of the year?
Bigger, yes. So this is a test, and I have a very large piece of MDF that I'm hoping to experiment with. So this piece potentially would be on a much bigger scale.
So we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
Thank you for sitting down with us today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.